So you just got paid. Congratulations! For the first time in a week or two, your bank balance went up instead of down. But what are you doing with your money? We've all got to keep the lights on. But once they've paid the power bill and the phone bill, most people stop budgeting and call it a day. To be fair, that kind of freewheeling budget approach can keep you from getting evicted or having your power cut off, but it's no way to pursue financial success. If you want to build future wealth and stop living paycheck to paycheck, you need to stop thinking paycheck to paycheck. Here are 5 things you should do every time you get a paycheck, as soon as you've paid your bills. To begin with, pay yourself first. This 3-word phrase has been thrown around by pretty much every financial writer in the last 50 years. What it means is that you should be saving part of your paycheck before you do anything else. This requires discipline. In Chapter 4 of his best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, author Robert Kiyosaki has this to say, quote, "If you cannot get control of yourself, do not try to get rich. You might first want to join the Marine Corps or some religious order so you can get control of yourself. It makes no sense to invest money and blow it." This is stern advice for a book that's mostly pretty upbeat, but it demonstrates just how important discipline is to financial success. So how much should you be saving? In a perfect world, you'd be setting aside anywhere from 10 to 25% of your income in a rainy day fund. But for many people, particularly people who are just starting out, saving that much money isn't realistic. That's fine. You've got to start somewhere, so start small by setting aside 1 or 2% of each paycheck. Then, try increasing that amount over time. If it takes you 5 years to save a full 10%, that's okay. The point is that you're making progress. Savings can come in the form of an ETF or a simple savings account. Remember though that an ETF is an investment and can technically lose value. Before you invest anything, set aside a $1,000 emergency fund in a standard savings account. Then if your car breaks down, you won't have to charge the repair to your credit card. Speaking of your car, the second thing you should do with your paycheck is go to the gas station. This might sound trite, but think of it this way. Most people get paid on Thursday or Friday. You pay whatever bills you need to pay that week, then spend the weekend hanging out with your friends. You go bowling, you go to a bar, and you order delivery food the next day. Monday rolls around and you don't have money for gas. You've got to get to work, so you put the gas on your credit card. It's only Monday, and you're already in the hole for the week. If you'd filled your gas tank on payday, that wouldn't have happened. The third thing you should do with your paycheck is similarly mundane. Take a trip to the grocery store. Most people eat at least 1 meal a day outside the home, if not 2. But fast food is way more expensive than cooking the same meal at home. And while a few dollars here or there might not seem like a big deal, these small expenses add up fast. Here's an example. The Taco Bell 7-layer burrito currently sells for $2.49. For that price, you get a tortilla, rice, black beans, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, sour cream, and guacamole. Buy a medium soda for $1.99, and your total for lunch is $4.48. Not too shabby, right? For a prepared meal, it's pretty cheap, but you can make the same meal at home for significantly less. Obviously, exact numbers for any given product will fluctuate from week to week, but here's an estimate of what that same meal would cost you if you bought all the ingredients at Walmart. To begin with, you've got your tortillas. You can buy a 16-pack of flour tortillas for $1.78, which works out to 11 cents per tortilla. Your main fillers are rice and beans. A 48-ounce bag of rice costs only $1.33, which works out to only 4 cents for a 1-ounce portion. Black beans are 54 cents per can, or about 18 cents per serving. An 8-ounce bag of a shredded 3-cheese blend is $1.98, or 25 cents for a 1-ounce serving. The other fillings are absurdly cheap. Chop up a 75-cent tomato, divide it in thirds, and the cost is 25 cents per burrito. Even if you use 1/8 of a head of lettuce, that will run you only 12 cents per burrito. Sour cream, $2.34 for a 16-ounce tub, or 11 cents for each burrito. Guacamole is the most expensive part, at $1.28 per avocado, or about 64 cents per burrito. Add up all of those parts and your ingredients cost only $1.70 per burrito. A 12-pack of name brand soda costs $17.25 per 12-pack, or $1.44 per can, bringing the total cost for the meal to $3.14. If you can forego the carbonated beverage, you'll save even more. But even with the soda, you're still saving $1.34 per meal. Assuming you save that much 3 times per day, you'll save an incredible $1,467 per year. That's over $100 per month. The biggest offender by far though is coffee. And I'm not even talking about the expensive super sweet drinks you can get from some popular chains. I'm talking about a medium coffee from Dunkin', which costs $2.39. Now, $2.39 might not seem like a big deal, but think about what's in that cup. The coffee you make at home costs about 4 cents cents per serving, a ridiculously cheap price. But let's be fair. Let's assume you like your coffee a little strong. There's a little wastage and you add cream and sugar. Using our now incredibly generous estimate, your homemade coffee now costs you 25 cents per cup. That's a savings of $2.14 per cup. If you were to skip your morning brew and bring some from home instead, you can save over $780 per year on coffee alone. Moving on, the fourth thing you should do with your paycheck might surprise you. In fact, it might seem like one of the least practical things you can do. The fourth thing you should do is set aside money for entertainment. Yeah, you heard that right. Entertainment money. Remember what we're talking about here. Being disciplined about the way you spend your paycheck. Discipline doesn't mean beating up on yourself. It doesn't even have to mean only doing things you dislike. It also means being honest about your abilities. Human beings are social creatures. We crave company and entertainment. If you never go out with friends, or buy a new video game, or take an afternoon hike, you're not living your life to its fullest. More importantly, you're going to snap. Go a month or two without budgeting for anything fun, and you'll soon find yourself splurging, whether you can afford it or not. So be honest with yourself. How much entertainment money are you going to need? This number will be different for different people, and there's no perfect entertainment budget number. Here's an example to consider. The average cost of a movie ticket in 2021 is $9.16. The average cost of a medium popcorn is about $7.50. The average medium soda costs $5.60. So for one person to go to a movie with a popcorn and a soda costs an average of $22.26. This can easily go higher than $30 in some areas. But wait, let's say you have a date. If you're paying, that same movie will cost between $44 and $60, and that's before the cost of gas, parking, or if you go out for coffee afterwards. All told, $100 is a reasonable budget for a simple trip to the movies. If you like bars or nightclubs, the costs can get even higher. Again, this was just an example, and there is no one perfect number that works for everybody. The important part is to set an entertainment budget, and then stick with it. For most people, sticking with it is the hard part. To help with this, it's best to set aside a separate fund for entertainment. Take out cash, put it in a designated envelope, and only use that cash for entertainment. Designate a certain amount of cash per check to put in the envelope. You can spend from the envelope whenever you like. However, you're not allowed to add more money until your next paycheck. If you follow these rules, you will never exceed your entertainment budget. The last thing you should do with every paycheck is pay down some debt. If you don't have any debt, congratulations. For the rest of us though, getting out of debt is the first step to financial freedom. How much debt to pay off and how to go about it is controversial. Some people say you should pay the minimum payment and spend any excess on investing. However, debt carries interest. The longer it takes to pay off, the more you end up paying overall. So it makes sense to pay your debt off as quickly as possible. There is one time you'd want to focus on saving first though. That's if you have less than $1,000 in your savings account. Remember the emergency fund we talked about earlier? If you don't have one and you run into an emergency, you'll have to put a major expense like a car repair on your credit card. By keeping some money in savings, you at least avoid running up more debt. As for which debt to pay off first, it's best to focus on bad debt. Bad debt is debt like credit cards and medical debt. Good debt, like student loans or a mortgage, still need to be paid off, but those debts don't impact your credit in the same way, so they can wait for later. If you have multiple loans or credit cards, some people advise paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first. Strictly from a numbers perspective, this will save you the most money in the long run, but sometimes it's psychologically easier to pay off smaller loans first. Let's say you're $40,000 in debt. You've got a $30,000 college loan, a $9,800 car loan, and $200 outstanding on your Target credit card. That $200 might be a small amount of debt, but it's one more bill you have to pay every month. If you can pay it off first, you'll feel better. When you're ready to invest, a smartphone app like M1 Finance or Webull is a great way to get started. These apps allow you to invest directly from your phone without having to go through a stockbroker. You can find links to M1 Finance and Webull in the description for this video. Both are affiliate links that help the channel when you use them to sign up. Make sure to leave a like and click the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. Happy investing!